Matthews v. Laine, and it's pertinent only in terms of the Calder. And I know there are people out there that say, you get maybe Marner's in that conversation,
no.
but
Matthews is a lock. It's a lock.
Well,
and I'll tell you why.
Okay, you're being a homer now. Go ahead.
No, I'm not. I'm going south of the border.
Okay.
I think Matthews is going to carry the American vote.
Ah. And that's interesting.
I don't think that there's any question about it. And rightly so. The hockey writers down there are going to do their due diligence and everything else, but when they get down to the last straw, And I think that it's a lock. I really do. And deservedly so. I mean, he deserves it if everything plays out the way it is and is exactly the same way at the end of the season as we see at this particular point. He certainly deserves it. But, I mean, we've seen that trophy been awarded, or at least the voting for it has gone askew on a number of occasions, not the least of which you'll remember with Wendell Clark. And Suter was a very good candidate. Wendell Clark had 34 goals and everything else, but there was a lot of people who thought, and whether it was right, wrong, or indifferent, that some of the Toronto media, because of Harold Ballard's antics, said, I think we'll vote elsewhere. Yeah. And whether it did or not, I still think it's there. But I think the American vote will be very strong for Auston Matthews.
All right, so let me take a slightly different approach. When Faye and I were talking about this earlier, I'll tell you what I said. I said, if I had to vote today, and thankfully we don't, I probably would vote for Laine, and it would be so close. I think I said you couldn't put a piece of paper between the two of them.
No, you're right.
All right, so I said I probably would go that way, but this is going to be determined over the last 25 games and how these two guys play. And I know it's a center, it's a winger. The responsibilities are different. It's apples versus oranges here. It's almost impossible to say which one is better or who's going to be better 3 years from now.
And here's
if you had to vote, if you voted today, who do you vote for?
I vote Matthews, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
He doesn't have a guy playing on his line who has 60 points. And that's what Scheifele has.
Scheifele, yeah.
And God bless him, and it's not his fault, but Auston Matthews has been entrenched, and you can use the word stuck if you'd like, but it's not really applicable, but with two other kids of the same ilk trying to find their way in the world's greatest league, and he is producing at the same clip that Laine is, with a guy who's been in the league, who is highly touted, was supposed to be the savior of the Winnipeg Jets until this kid arrived, and he's centering him and is producing 60 points. And that,
that's a good argument.
That has to be taken into some consideration, regardless of what position they're playing and what responsibilities they have and everything else. Now, if the Leafs make the playoffs and Winnipeg don't, it's more than a lock.
So if you're going to rank the Leaf rookies, young players, Matthews is obviously at the top. And Marner, I think most people would say, would be in second place. And if there was any doubt over the first 20 or 30 games of the year, I don't think there's much anymore, that Nylander is the next in line.
I disagree.
Go ahead. Tell me.
Zaitsev.
It is Zaitsev. I was going to ask you about him.
I think that, and he's a little older, and he has played.
Yeah.
And that comes into it. But if you're just talking the rookies as they are on this team, I think what he has done, he has been remarkable. He has fit into the number one pairing, defensive pairing. He has produced offensively. He runs the power play on a nightly basis, and I think he's been terrific. And not to take anything away from William Nylander. And Brown and anybody else. Zach Hyman has done exactly what they have wanted him to do. I mean, the penalty killing, he leads the league in penalty killing ice time per game, and he's a rookie.
Yeah.
That's remarkable. And all of them have had a certain piece of it, but when you try to knock it down, or you want the top three, I go Matthews, Marner, Zaitsev.
And when you, at the start of the year, Joe, what were your sort of, your expectations of Auston Matthews? We knew the kid, the pedigree is there, and that obviously he was eventually going to be an impact player. Take away the crazy opening night, the 4 goals, but just going through preseason, what did you kind of have as numbers in your head for him?
You know, I think we all took a look at Wendell's 34 goals and Inachek's 66 points and said, you know what, this kid should be there. And I don't think that he's going to disappoint us in that regard, and he may set a new standard that's quite a bit better. But I think that's what you thought. I mean, when talking with Wendell Clark before the season, and we said, you know, what do you think this team? He said, you know what, they'll be really lucky if they play 500. Well, they're going to play better than 500, it appears, and they may even make the playoffs. They have certainly gone way over expectations, and the fans have embraced them. And I think that this kid is going to be a very special player. You know, they say, you know, is Marner a better? I think Marner's going to be a better offensive player, and Auston Matthews will be the better overall player.
Sort of Taves and Kane in a way.
They look at Taves and Kane.
Not necessarily at that level, but that combination.
But that is a great analogy.
Yeah.
I think, if they stay healthy and everything goes according to Hoyle, you know what? That's exactly the kind of tandem I think they're going to be.
You know, the really interesting thing is here we are literally 4 months or whatever, 5 months into, not even 5, into this new look Toronto Maple Leafs with all of these young kids, and already people are talking about who do you keep and who because, well,
isn't that ridiculous?
It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but it shows you that we haven't, you know, in places where they are used to having good hockey teams and championship teams, those kinds of conversations may not seem ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, Bob, you don't have to look any further than the maturation process of one Nazem Kadri. And how get rid of him, move him, get a deal, don't matter what it is, and you let the young man mature, and he's having his career year, and he has fit in extraordinarily well. Well, you got to let these kids have that kind of maturity period to blossom, and they're ahead of expectations. So what can you imagine what they would be like if we allow them to mature and grow as a group?
Yeah,
that's going to be an exciting proposition, I think, for Leaf fans.
So let me throw this one at you. You're Lou Lamoriello. Trade deadline's approaching. You get 2 phone calls. One of them is, will you trade one of your young players? Let's presume it's not Matthews or Marner. One of your young players for Shattenkirk. Then you get another phone call, and it's, what'll you give me for this 20-year-old or 19-year-old that I've got? Do you keep on the young track, or do you try now to add the veteran presence?
No, I think you stay on the young track, Bob. I think that they've been given the carte blanche this year. The Kool-Aid has been drunk. Everybody is willing to watch this season go and do as best they can. If they can get, you know, a stay-at-home defenseman that is physical in front of the net, that would augment this group for a low price tag, yes. But I don't.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I don't believe they're going to be very active, if at all, at the trade deadline, and it certainly won't be anything as big a splash as what you would suggest with Shattenkirk for a. Well, you pick the young kid out of the lineup and decide who. So I think it'll be quiet, but I think the next 5 years are going to be very, very exciting.
Bonesy, great to hear your voice. Thanks, pal.
Okay,
and
can I go back into the Unionville Arms and sign up for my Unionville Rec League softball? Dan Dahu is the commissioner, and he's upset that I'm in here.
Carry on and say hello to Danny for us, will you?
We will.
Thanks, Bonesy.
I had to get the plug in because I get a free drink now, Bob.
Oh, way to go. Nice. Joe Bowen, the play-by-play voice of the Toronto Maple Leafs on radio.